Welcome back to Brush Up Your Game. I'm David, and today we're doing a re-review of the Q Continuum Grand Prize Pack. This is from the Q Continuum OP series, and stick around because at the end I'll talk about maybe a wish list for what else I'd like to see Q have as a faction. So first up, we had Q Female, the captain here. Skill 10. Yeah, I did not misspeak. Printed skill 10 with a talent slot and 7 points. Action, place one additional shield token beside your ship. When taking damage this round, remove this shield token first. If all of your shields are destroyed by a single attack this round and your ship suffers any damage to its hull from that attack, the damage is increased by 1 normal damage, which seems bad. If the shield token is unused, remove it during the end phase. So basically, it's a worse evade. The bright side is it could go on a ship that does not have evade. There are very few of those. The trade-off I'd like to see, modern day version of this card, would be to not remove the shield token. Just add the shield token. Call it a day. Just action, place one additional shield token beside your ship. Period. Done. Over. It's there, right? And you could do this at the start of the game. And you could just fly back and forth and stack up shields. And that would be fine. You'd spend a lot of actions to do it. The games don't take that many rounds. This isn't that big of a deal. You could leave in the effect about if all of your shields are destroyed by a single attack. Then you take an extra damage. Fine. I don't really care. Printed skill 10 is nice until you realize that Gen Con is a thing that copies printed skill. Rule of Threes kind of made this less good. Not that female Q was ever really a big thing because you're paying an extra point to get an extra captain skill, and even then, like, the lack of a good named ability was just not anything that most people found value in. Now Q, as a captain, 2 skill, 1 point, and a talent slot. This is your cheap talent slot. Action, rotate your ship 180 degrees. Cool. Place a number of Ox power tokens beside your ship equal to the speed of the maneuver you revealed this round. Okay. I will use this sparingly because I'm certainly looking at it if I do a 1, maybe a 2. Probably not anything more because 3 Ox power or 4 Ox power or 5 Ox power just it's a ship ender. I'm never getting an action again. The exception would be on like the original Enterprise, who can still do an action bar action even if they have auxiliary power. Then this is actually a really cool captain. Granted, not amazing, but still a cool captain because you can do things like a 3 bank and come about, or a 4 turn and come about. And it's optional because it's an action. Granted, on a ship like that, it's a one-time effect because once you have the Ox power, you have to remove it if you're ever going to do it again. Where I think this might have some play is on a Romulan ship, because now you can put on Romulan cloaking device. You can come about after any maneuver, still sensor echo, still bank sensor echo. And on something like the Valdor that wants to do green maneuvers because you're going to get an extra attack die, you're more incentivized to do that. I don't know. I think there's some intrigue there. Again, I don't know if it's amazing, but I think that it's there. Q also comes as an Admiral. You lose a skill point, which makes sense. He's too busy distracting the crew. Still costs a point. And you get the same thing. Much better as an Admiral. Goes on any ship for 1 point, because that's the way Q faction works. And I like it. I mean, I think I had him ranked in the top 5 or so of my Admirals, and he holds up. Think Fast is a pretty good talent, especially as a 1-point card. During the roll attack dice step, when attacking with a primary weapon, you can discard the card, disable one of your other upgrades to gain +1 attack die for the attack. That much is the good part. The other part's kind of not. During the roll defense die step, you may discard this card, disable one of your other upgrades, roll +1 defense die. It's just an extra attack die tends to have the quality built in, and typically you're going to roll this or run this on a ship that has something like a Sakona, a Koth, a disposable upgrade that you don't mind disabling because it has next to no effect. And yeah, I don't run it frequently because it does run up to rule of 3, but there's times where I have that talent slot. I have a point sitting there, and I go, well, why not get 1 extra attack die for 1 attack? It certainly doesn't hurt me. And if I never use it, I never use it. But at least I had the ability to use it if I wanted to. I like Think Fast. Quinn is a 2-point crew and kind of pays for himself. When your ship is defending during the compare results step, you may discard this card to cancel a hit or a crit. I kind of consider him crit insurance. I throw him out to cancel a crit. I used him a lot more before we got ships that, like the Sutherland, the Enterprise D, the Recost, because I thought he was very fairly priced at that point. Now he feels like a 1.5-point cost, and I just don't find as much value in him because he is taking up a crew slot. I do feel like I'm willing to pay the points, but I want just a little bit more out of him. And I don't know why. I don't think he's bad. I just I kind of wish he did a little more. Q2, this question mark upgrade, counts as either crew, talent, tech, or weapon, your choice. When a friendly ship within range 1 of your ship receives damage, you may discard this card and transfer all of that damage to your ship. So this kind of has a Prakesh-like ability to it, and I do love that ability. I just don't think it's worth 5 points to transfer damage. I get that there's times, right, you can have the super fed ship built up with reinforced shields and a systems upgrade and reinforced hull and be willing to take that extra damage because you're not going to die. And you can take all of the damage, so you can save a ship from destruction. But it is an all or nothing, and that's the trade-off, again, that I'm not the biggest fan of. So, yeah, and as much as I loved Corbin Burnson as Q2, I thought that was a fun story arc. I don't feel like this encapsulates what Q2 did in the show. So yeah, that itself is the Q faction pack. If you can get a hold of it, Q is a really good captain and admiral, more so an admiral than a captain. I think he alone is worth the price of admission. Think Fast is a nice bonus, and Quinn has a tiny bit of play. And if you watch nothing more, then that's the review of what exists. So now let me talk about how I'd love to see kind of Q Continuum extended 2.0. I don't know. We'll go with that. I'd like to see a Q Tribunal. Have like a question mark upgrade there. Something that interferes with an opponent's captain. I don't think Madrid style, but maybe puts time tokens on an opponent's captain, right? Occupies their time with a trial. I think that would be cool. I think Q Junior could have a crew effect I forget the Ferengi card, but I think it was a Ferengi that you action to put it on your opponent's ship. But I think Q Junior could do that, and that would be a fun effect. Um, and then I'd like to see an Amanda Rogers. I think that would be a cool idea to bring in to play, and she could have, I don't know, maybe some kind of healing power or something else. You know, and there's lots of other potential. You could have Vash could be part of Q2 or the Q 2.0. You could have Riker's dalliance with uh, being a Q. Data laughing was uh, a staple of the CCG days, or at least a promo that was very interesting. Um, you know, Q's gifts, as it were. Um, but I think there's some fun that can be had with Q, and I understand not wanting to make Q super duper silly, um, but I think there's some room for it, and I think there's some intrigue out there. You can also bring in a lot of characters from the Q Civil War from Voyager. That's one of the maybe unexplored aspects, and granted, it was a super odd storyline, and maybe one that a lot of people don't wish to reminisce about. But I think that uh, what was it? Well, the rocking chair man on the porch was still a fun character. Now, do they have any relevance in Attack Wing? I don't know. I doubt it, but still could, maybe. I I think there's just potential, and I like the idea that Q cards can go on any faction without paying a penalty, and I think that more needs to be done with that concept. So hopefully we see a little bit more of that. I don't know, and who knows? Potential. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate your time. And until next time, keep brushing up your game. Take care.